So welcome to another game on Chess Up 2 on chess.com still, and we are going to hopefully play black pieces. We are hoping for black pieces for 2 games now. So let's see what we are getting today. We have black pieces. We are at exactly the same rating as sudiptoOdisha, 1384 rated, both of us. Very humble opening, very humble beginnings. So we are going to play Philidor. So far we have played 5 Philidor games and 8 Khan games. And Khan is leading 7-6. So the reason is the Khan isn't doing so well is simply because we have lost 1 game on time where we were completely winning. But to be honest, that game was very complicated, and I would probably be able to defeat myself in that game if that was the contest. Now, White's opening is actually quite understandable. Now I understand what they wanted to achieve with the move bishop c4. They are going just for the simple trick on f7 with queen f3, queen h5. So our job is simply to try and trap the bishop, which is not happening. But then again, I think pawn on a4, even though it could be weakness at some positions, here I believe it could turn into strength if we push the bishop onto a2 straight away. I cannot explain exactly why I think so, but it gives our rook potential scope of getting into the game. And I think now that we resolve the situation of the bishop, we are going to just simply develop and see what is White's next plan. White has a really strange way to develop, but understandable, as they don't want to be hit after knight f3 with something like e4. Now bishop g4 is an idea, but you need to think about these pawn storming moves. Probably don't want to allow all that. So we will instead go and look for this bishop to develop, because that's the next reasonable option for us. One of the ideas as well might be to play this bishop onto f5. But again, bishop f5 might give a tempo to White to play knight g3. So we first want to see what is White intending to do with the knight over there. We don't want to move the queen yet. That was just a mistake, and we need to say je do. So I believe this bishop is best on this diagonal, as it could potentially threaten black king. And sorry, I keep saying black thing, I mean opponent's thing, of course. Opponent's king. Sometimes getting words out is difficult for me. So we are going to finish the development of our king side. And White has really some dangerous attacking ideas. They're going after us at every single step. Now we need to be careful of one thing, and that is simply that if we move our knight after g5, then White would want to activate their bishop here, so by taking on d5. However, this is significantly weakening White's position, and you shouldn't be really attacking before you develop all your pieces. However, I'm not saying, sometimes it may work, and you might be encouraged to do this over and over and over again. So first we will play move c3. c6, sorry, just to protect the pawn on d5, and if g5 comes, then we have moved knight to e4. We no longer have it. However, it feels like it's us who want to start some attack against their position. And I believe one of the first ways we can try and do this would be to just simply attack in a center with the move e4 to try and open that position up a little bit. But e4, if they want to keep it closed, they might. I also am looking at this square f3 that e4 would be controlling really well, because I have my own tendency of trying to attack them whilst they are trying to attack us. One of the other options would be to develop the knight on a6, but I don't know yet where this pawn want to be. So one of the options is to play e4. If they play g5, could also want to be opening the pawn structure with the f6 move. So don't necessarily want to play e4 just yet. But white will have some issues with developing their pieces. So before I decide where to develop my bishop or the knight, I'll play one sort of waiting, but at the same time developing moves, because white can potentially develop most of their pieces. But this bishop isn't very good, and this knight as well is not the best knight out there. I feel like playing e4 now is beneficial, even if it helps opening this bishop on the diagonal a2 g8. So playing e4 now looks reasonable, as it is going to be restricting this knight apart from this c4 square, and it nicely opens up our bishop too. So knight to c4, bishop c7. Yeah, we definitely, I can't wait to do anything else about this position but play e4. Also, some taking here will give us nice scope for the knight on e5. So knight d7, knight e5, and then we have a nice jump over there, closing the position that could work for us. So what do we do here? Can try and keep it open with c5, but that wouldn't be all that great, I believe. White has their own plan of playing c4 eventually. And I'm feeling like really going after this pawn chain with h5 move. So if I play h5, g5, knight h7, h4, f6 and g6, that's gonna trap our knight. So that doesn't seem to work. Sacrificing the knight on g4 looks like an other option, but it's too violent and too unnecessary, I think. Moving this knight, I also don't want to be so much. The question is what to do here. So this pawn feels like needs to be really running down the board. The c4 from white would want to play c4. So as the white would like to play freeing move like c4, I feel we will try and play a move that will be aiming to stop the c4. g5 isn't a move that would actually be threatening for us. This is a move that will be helping us. So this knight can go there, but yeah, I believe the knight belongs to the edge of the board. Obviously, that's the saying that does not apply in most positions. And we are going to just basically what white did here with the move g5. They enabled us to help us with the plan that we wanted to go through. So we want to open the f file and start the attack on white's king. Rook g1 is symbolic to what black would want to do. Sorry, the white, what the white would like to do. So I feel we should 100% try and open the position. However, and this is big however, we probably prefer our opponent to capture first. And now when I think about it, maybe move like f5 was actually more accurate. f5 looks more accurate. So, and this bishop here is like really annoying, so, and also, so right now this bishop is really working well, as there will be some knight takes e4. For example, after queen f6, knight takes e4 seems to be working temporarily. And I would like to also prevent white from pushing g6. So I think what I'm gonna do is to play the g6 move myself first. And then if I can help it, maybe I can start pushing the f5 pawn, or I can just simply hide the king on g8. The king on g8, sorry. So keep this rook out of the game by playing move f5, and my next idea is to play f4 and activate my pieces that way. I will also try and prevent any knight takes e4 captures to... Oh, actually knight takes b5 here works. I totally missed that, because then white has bishop takes d5. Okay, I completely missed knight takes b5. So e4 is interesting. So first we will get rid of the any of the trouble we have with knight e4, knight b5. But then again, white would like to play the f4 move, which will help them. Well, so if we take on f3, we have queen to e3 potential. So first we will capture here. Now white has no time for knight takes b5, They can play it, but it's not working here. Queen f3 makes sense. Although, be 100% sure. So we're getting away from the diagonal, and I believe king h8 could be the move. So knight takes d5 is still possible. However, it's not going to win any material, just the 2 pawns for a piece. b4 is a move, but it will only make the a3 weaker. So we're gonna capture en passant. So first you make a move as if you are capturing a piece, and then you remove the pawn from the board. Bishop takes. And now the idea will be to play b4, hitting the knight. Knight can still sacrifice on d5, that is absolutely fine. But what we want to do, we want to actually to take on b4 eventually with the bishop. And we want to keep the pressure on white pieces. Also, we have some really strong ideas of our own. But any sacrifice on d5 still looks very strong for our opponent. Right now, knight to a4 doesn't look so threatening. You can go with move rook e8. But first I would suggest developing our pieces, because that's something that we've been lacking for a while. Move like f4, e4. So we are going to try and develop the piece on a6. Right now, I think all the sacrifices were working because of our unfinished development. So that's need to be fixed, and this rook needs to go on e8 as soon as possible. Right now, any sacrifice on d5 that would just help us, because this bishop that turned out to be very strong once we played the f5, and I think I have underestimated some of these options that black had, that opponent had, and some of the problems might come as well on the dark squares. As we played already g6, f5, there's no defense for the dark squares or the light squares. I need to use my pieces to protect. So white strategy wasn't all just dump. Some of it had actual merit. So my job is to try and keep the position closed if possible, especially in the center, but I can't really prevent them from sacrificing a piece. So one of my thoughts is to actually play bishop b7. It doesn't look great. And white wants to castle long. White wants to castle long, but that's not going to be easy. So what we're going to do, we're going to play bishop d7 or bishop b7, which is better. I feel like we need to keep that bishop a bit more to the, on both sides of the board. So we're gonna keep a bishop on d7. It's more active, as here that it wouldn't have any scope due to our pawn structure. We want to bite basically white into sacrificing some of the material. And our job will be to try and open up the position in the center, playing against this weakness. And that's actually white who does it for us. And unfortunately for them, they are trying to open this bishop. We have still knight to g7 as a defender. So any sacrificing here doesn't seem to work. If queen takes, we just simply take with the pawn. So we are going to take here. So right now we are riding a pawn up, and I believe we finished development, sort of. And this gives us a chance to attack white pieces. All our pieces are ready to jump in the game. So queen to e3. So we can actually now I wish the knight was really the bishop was still on b7, so we can transfer it quickly onto a6. So what we're going to do, we're going to play bishop f4. The next job is going to be to try and keep the king in the center of the board. Or we can also push the e4 pawn forwards to e3. We have everything in the position that we wanted, or would have wanted. Just really need to be careful not to blunder everything, as these bishops are really, really dangerous on the long diagonals. That's why sometimes you need to be careful not to open anything up for your opponent. And I'm thinking if move like knight to g3 is already a strong move, or if it's not as strong move as you would expect. But we are going to try it, because it's hitting the queen, asking some more questions from the queen. And I don't think the queen can go to the f-file to hit our bishop. Also, any sacrifice on e4, we right now are protecting with our knight. So I expect the queen is the best on h2. To which I don't really have much of a response just yet. Because knight f5 is going to be losing to queen f4. But just to ask the question, where the queen want to go. So we are going to move back the knight. And if the queen goes back to e2, we are going to hit the king with bishop g3 check. As if they can lose the castling, this could be good for us. And we are going to hit the king with the bishop g3 check anyway. Sacrificing queen for 2 pawns doesn't seem to be very good. King e2 would be blunder already for knight f4, winning the queen. So the only escape square seems to be d1. Now I believe we can start pushing the pawn forward. With e4, e3, but it's still a bit dangerous, Pawn to e3, knight f3, bishop g4. Rook f1. Pawn to e2, queen e2. Rook e8. We are going to be winning an endgame here. So after pawn to e3, I think we are entering a winning endgame. As after knight f3, we have bishop g4 pinning the knight. And if rook f1, then we have... we can actually sacrifice the rook temporarily and play rook f8, which would be also winning. So the knight can go to f1. Which we can have like a really nice attack. So knight f1 looks like the best move, so to go here instead of here. If you go here, I think this pin is too much. This pin is too much and should win the game. So sometimes having two bishops is a really strong, powerful thing to have. We have both strong bishops, but white was not able to open these bishops in time. So that simply means that they're now losing to our 2 bishops on the other side of the board. And it's going to be another point for Philidor, unless we lose on time. We have 1 minute 29 against 9 minutes 27. So I need to be careful not to lose on time again. But if rook f1, then we have rook takes f3, rook takes f3, rook f8. And black has no, opponent has no way to defend their rook. Rook takes, and we have rook f1, rook f8. I wasn't even calculating this, I'm just, it's something that you see that the rook cannot move. White plays knight to c5. It is counter-attacking our knight here, and we don't want to take because then there's a check allowing this bishop into the game, and some bishop f6 would also come. So we don't want to allow this. So I I think simply just winning the queen should be enough. Letting the knight on a6 go is a sad thing, but something we have to do. But I believe the best way to do it is to first capture here with the rook. So that way, if they recapture with the queen, we are giving also a check in the next move. And if they capture us here, there's a nice checkmate for us. So it's really important that you see the checkmate. Look at this pawn here. It's also a powerhouse, just ready to march into a queen. So with a little bit of patience and carefulness, we have been able to get a winning position. So I'm thinking, do we really need to worry about this knight? It doesn't look like it, because we can just go and see if we can get some use for the extra queen that we have into this chess set. And it's quite simple. If I'd have to give the queen to us, then we should be winning very simply. Move like king d2 does not help anything, because we are mating in one. We can also make a bit more fun and really use this queen. So right now, queen to e3 is a checkmate, as this bishop is controlling here. But I think we are going to make a use of our extra queen and cool checkmate in a different way. So to promote, you place a piece here. If you want anything else than a queen, you will need to put it here as soon as possible, because after some time you will be given opportunity only to promote into a queen. So you need to do it quickly enough, prepare your piece, and then promote. So white takes here, and we can toy with our opponent with bishop takes e1, but I don't think this is necessary, because we could lose potentially on time with 18 seconds left. So checkmate. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this game, although it was not without mistakes on my part. But sometimes you can see that you can like focus on different parts of the board that matters more than on the knight that is unprotected here. Because taking here could be a problem of it, like takes, there's a check. If you go here, then white can probably intersect here, and whilst the rook was still here, then it would stop the attack here. And if I take back, then I might be forgetting my bishop here. So just be patient with your games. Take it one move at a time. Spend more time on your moves, and you'll be winning. If you occasionally lose, like I did with the Sicilian the other day, I was totally winning and I lost, but I'm still grateful that I take the time to figure everything out, even though if I could see that I'm in this trouble, I would find that move quicker. I completely forgot about it. That happens. But yeah, patience in chess is everything. Learn patiently every day. You will be improving. So, here we are. Thank you for watching today's game. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.